Saving the school and academic year is an issue that taunts parents and governments on the continent. First of all, the reopening of schools is far from being effected in several countries. In addition to this, the approach of the end-of-year examination periods for majority of schools on the continent remains a concern. So, how do we make up for the delay after almost 2 months of absence, also considering that some regions could start their deconfinement much later than others? In Congo-Brazzaville, the Minister of Education says that strategies will be put in place to avoid a dead year. He joins us now with the details.
Le ministre congolais de l'enseignement primaire, secondaire et de l'alphabétisation, il est justement avec nous ce matin depuis Brazzaville. Bonjour, monsieur.
Hello, Mr. Anatole Koline Makoso, and thank you for taking time to respond to our questions.
Bonjour.
Hello.
Alors, le gouvernement congolais
Well, the government is determined to organize exams despite the disruption of the school curriculum due to the corona pandemic. How exactly do you plan on doing this?
The
government has not yet taken any decision on this matter. We are working on the possibility, we are discussing the theory, and we remain dependent on health authorities. Once the health authorities report to the government on the possibility of restarting the school year, that is, officially resuming classes, the government will then decide on the period during which the examinations will be organized. One thing that is certain is that if this decision is taken in this way, we will look for a period of after a refresher, we will look after a period where we'll have refresher courses to catch on the 5 or 6 weeks of classes that the students have been deprived of, and therefore we will complete this volume of hours.
Monsieur le ministre, que répondez-vous
Well, Minister, how do you respond to the Student Union of Congo, which believes that there will not be an equality of opportunity between candidates, given that not all students have access to online lessons?
A
regulatory act is not influenced by media agitation or by storming the home of a political actor or a critic of a government action. One understands that a regulatory act, by getting closer to the authority which implemented this act. Anyone who does not understand the system in place, does not have, or who does not know the law, has to approach the authorities that created it and find out how the mechanisms were implemented before going out to create agitation in the streets. I can tell you that there are equality measures that have been established outside the courses that are distributed by media and have been put online. There are handouts that have been made available to all the students. But beyond all that, as I mentioned earlier, there is an equalization mechanism at the end of the confinement. And once we are out of this confinement, if the government decides to resume classes on the one hand and organize examinations on the other hand, the students in the examination class will return to school and will be in contact with their teachers, will receive explanations on their lessons that they have received, and they will therefore have refresher courses. They will organize tutorials and practical exercises to prepare them to sit the exams. That's it. So, if the union of pupils and students in the Congo have a good sense to get closer to the government authorities, they'll be given all the information they need instead of protesting. So we've understood your point of view, and we know that exams will certainly take place. Will students be entitled to normal holidays, knowing that this might impact the next academic year? Well, we are going step by step. The first thing to do is to make up for the 5 or 6 weeks of classes that the students have missed. Because, as you know, in the third term, there are 6 or 5 weeks of lessons that have taken place in April that could have ended no later than the 15th or 20th of May. There are 6 or 5 weeks that will be made up for when the lessons resume eventually, and then from then on, They will have completed all the hours that they needed to have studied effectively. And then they will have completed, there will be the need to complete the school year. As soon as we've done that, we will schedule the exam dates. And as you understand, exams could no longer take place in the case because the government has not yet determined a new schedule. And when we resolve this issue, we'll look at the question of holidays. Will the pupils still go for a 3-month holiday? Are we going to reduce their vacation to 2 months? Will the new school year begin in October, or will it be postponed? This is the second set of issues that the government will be looking at. What matters to the government first and foremost is to see to what extent that state exams will be organized after the government has won the battle to maintain or ensure continuity, which allows students to be aware of the school year that has not been a dead year. A school year that will not be a dead year. Thank you, Mr. Anatole Collinet Makosso, for speaking to us and for your determination to save the school year.
En tout cas, merci à vous, Monsieur Anatole Collinet Makosso. Je rappelle
that was Anatole Collinet Makosso, the Minister of Education of the Republic of Congo.
Je vous dis merci.
Thank you too.